think agencies are very inventive places. I mean, I think people that work in advertising agencies are very useful. I think they play a very catalytic role in any creative process. But I think the way agencies can drive profitability for themselves is by having the courage of their convictions. If you invent something and you want to see it through, then you can. There are examples of agencies that have made films, but they haven't been paid for the merchandising. So there's always somebody further up the chain who will take the bit that you did. So you've got to be as far up the chain as you possibly can. In order to get there, you've got to be with the marketing director, you've got to be talking to them, you've got to be talking to the people that make the decisions and spend the money and issue the briefs. So I genuinely think that advertising agencies can put together and activate profitable franchises, but they've just got to think beyond the brief, and whether that means working up a brief that they've been given by a client that involves a more profitable model, and there are lots of different ways that you can pay an agency, payment by results being one of them, or in your time when you're not being paid by a client, you shouldn't switch off the creative machine and you should be using your creative abilities and your creative juices to come up with your own ideas.
I think if we didn't have to, we probably wouldn't do it. So years ago, we didn't have to bring different people together. We just have advertising folk who thought they could provide the whole answer. Now, advertising might be the secondary medium to a digital platform or a digital product, which is actually the hero. So we have to collaborate. We have to bring people from different disciplines together if we want to find the right answer. They could be digital people, CRM people, media folk, designers. Advertising people are just one of the skills that need to sit at the table. You need them all collaborating. I think that the pitfalls of collaboration, I think you have no choice but to try, because I think it gets you to the right answer. But on the way, I think you need to be very certain who the kind of editor-in-chief is, and otherwise you can have chaos. So if you have lots of creative people from lots of different disciplines without any organizing principles, you can have chaos. So I think the important thing is, how do you have a media-agnostic kind of editor-in-chief who understands that a big idea doesn't mind who had it, but somebody is going to have to decide what the big idea is and say that's what we're doing and everyone get behind it. Because otherwise you could go round and round in circles for ages and waste a lot of money actually, rather than create a lot. I think the thing that has to change about the traditional agency model, and particularly the one that exists in the networks, is the idea of competing bottom lines. So I don't think you can have the media agency people and the ad agency people and the digital people competing for the client's spend. It's the opposite of what I'd want if I was the client. I think they have to share a bottom line, so that then their interest is in what's the right answer or what's the right collaboration to create an answer, rather than I really hope the advertising is going to be the answer, or the direct marketing is going to be the answer, or the digital is going to be the answer. And so I think competing bottom lines will have to go to drive genuine collaboration.
The traditional agency structure is still intact. The way it's paid is not intact anymore. So the traditional one, to my mind, was always the media commission route, where you would make a commercial, you'd take 15% of everything they spent on media, and you could sit there for 3 years and take the dollar. I think that the setup of the agency remains the same, and I think that the way it's paid is different. So they're two separate issues to me, but I think that the way the agency behaves and how it applies itself is changing and has to change. I think obviously collaboration is something I think that can unlock that latent potential, but also I think if you look in Asia, there are lots and lots of different types of agencies. So you've got clients who will go to their large network agencies to make sure that nothing goes wrong on the ground, but then you've got clients who will use small creative boutiques to make sure that they get the creative spot. First of all, why can't those come together? And secondly, why couldn't you put a network of creative boutiques together to get the best punch throughout a coordinated network system? So that's kind of where Bates CHI and Partners wants to get to with our collaboration model.